In the year 2000, 80 million people were listening to music for free through a program that came out of nowhere. Today, that same service is called Spotify and is worth $40 billion. Just like that. The difference is that the music industry destroyed the first one with brutal lawsuits, no mercy whatsoever, but it couldn't destroy the second one, and worse, it ended up copying the whole idea, ironically. Today I'm telling you the most ironic story on the internet. Buckle up because this one's a wild ride, for real. Year 1999. Buying music was legal robbery in a suit. You paid $20 for a whole album just because you wanted to listen to one song, a single one. The record labels were living their best moment, swimming in green bills like a Disney cartoon. The MP3 format already existed, but sharing music was a technical nightmare for any regular human. You'd search for your favorite song on Lycos, Alta Vista, on 1,000 tiny websites that never actually worked. Broken FTP servers, half-downloaded songs, virus files that destroyed your entire computer. And the IRC chat rooms where some bitter nerd would ban you if you asked for music. The world was ready, waiting, desperate, screaming for a solution that actually worked. And then he showed up. An 18-year-old kid who looked like he hadn't slept in days. His name was Shawn Fanning, and he was about to change music forever. Shawn lived in Massachusetts, an introverted kid who only understood two things, code and music. His friends called him Napster because of his curly hair, and yeah, that's how the name was born. He got into Northeastern University, but classes bored him more than watching paint dry. One night in his dorm room, programming in C++, he had a really simple idea, almost obvious. What if we all shared our files directly, no servers, computer to computer? His uncle Shawn Fanning saw the idea, saw the potential, and threw money at the project. A guy named Sean Parker also jumped in. Yes, the same guy who would later co-found Facebook. June 1999, they launched the Napster beta to the public, completely free. At first, just a few college bros downloaded it, all chill, no fanfare. But the word of mouth was nuclear. In 1 week, it was already all over campus. Universities went crazy. Kids were downloading music like it was free oxygen. The university networks collapsed so badly that some schools blocked Napster from their systems completely. MIT, Berkeley, Harvard, even the nerdiest nerds were downloading the entire Britney Spears discography. In just a few months, Napster went from 0 to 1 million active users. Total insanity. By the year 2000, it was 20 million. And by that end of that year, 80 million. Just like that. The music industry took its sweet time to notice, but when they noticed, they almost fainted on the spot. CD sales started falling off a cliff. The graphs looked like a carnival water slide. Enter Hillary Rosen, the head of the RIAA, ready to defend the entire music empire. December 99, the RIAA files the first lawsuit against Napster, officially declaring war. The complaint was brutal, claiming Napster was facilitating the largest act of piracy in human history. Napster responded all chill, saying, "Hey, we're just the engine. The users decide what to share." It was the classic defense, like saying, "I only sell the gun, I didn't pull the trigger. Sorry." The record labels were terrified. They felt their entire business crumbling between their fingers. March 2000, something happened that would be the spark to ignite the global music fire. Metallica found an unreleased demo called I Disappear, floating freely on Napster before the release. Lars Ulrich, Metallica's drummer, lost his mind, grabbed the phone and called his lawyers. Lars instantly became the most hated villain on the internet, a walking meme in a tie. Metallica sued Napster, but also sued the universities that let their students use it. Lars brought a printed list with 335,000 usernames of people who had downloaded Metallica. He delivered the boxes to the Napster offices like saying, "Here are the pirates, go get 'em." The fans hated Lars with every fiber of their being. They felt rock had betrayed the people. Then Dr. Dre joined a lawsuit, and well, at that point it was all-out holy war. The entire music industry piled on Napster like a pack of lions on a baby chick. While all this legal chaos was happening, Napster kept growing. 80 million active users on the platform. Every college kid in the world had their fat folder of pirated MP3s. There was no escape for anyone. The case ended up in front of Judge Marilyn Hall Patel, a lady who didn't let anything slide. Federal court in San Francisco. Tense atmosphere. Napster's lawyers were sweating like it was a final exam.
July 2000, Judge Patel orders the immediate shutdown of Napster. No going back. Napster had been knocked out cold. The servers had to be turned off immediately. No negotiation possible.
They appealed in record time. The court let them keep operating temporarily while the case was being resolved. February 2001, the appeals court delivered the final blow. Officially, Napster loses. The order was crystal clear. Napster had to filter all copyrighted content, not a single song more. They implemented the filters, but the users were smarter. They just changed the file names. Metallica magically became Metallica, M3-Talica, M letter T-Alica. It was a joke. The filters were a total failure. The ship was sinking and nobody could plug the holes. July 2001, Napster officially shuts down its servers. End of the original free dream. The German company Bertelsmann buys Napster for $85 million, hoping to save it. The plan was to turn it into a legal paid service with all the record labels on board, but it was already way too late. The legal debt was massive. There was no way to bring it back. September 2002, Napster officially declares bankruptcy. Party's over, this time for real. Roxio buys the remains of Napster for $5 million, basically just buying the brand and nothing else. The brand still exists today, but without its original soul. It's like a sad ghost. Year 2003, Apple launches its iTunes store, selling songs for 99 cents each. Steve Jobs convinced the record labels it was better to charge a little than to lose everything. And they accepted. The industry accepted because there was no other choice. Napster had shown the world had changed. Meanwhile, Shawn Parker, Napster's co-founder, was inventing another startup called Plaxo with not much success. But then a guy named Mark Zuckerberg shows up in his life, and Shawn jumps into Facebook. Boom! Year 2006, in Sweden, a kid named Daniel Ek has exactly the same idea as Shawn. He creates Spotify, a platform with the identical model of Napster, but with one super important trick. This time, instead of fighting the record labels, he called them and proposed being their official partners. The labels put down a condition. We want shares in the company. We want a slice of the pie. Daniel Ek agreed to give them 18% of Spotify, and the deal was sealed. Everyone happy. Year 2008, Spotify officially launches in Europe. Exactly the same idea as Napster, but legalized. It was the idea of an 18-year-old American kid executed by a 25-year-old Swedish kid. Year 2011, Spotify officially arrives in the United States, and the American public says, "We've been wanting this." The same labels that destroyed Napster are now promoting Spotify like it's the salvation of music. Translation, I'll sue you to death if you give me this for free, but if you charge me and give me shares, I'm your biggest fan. Year 2018, Spotify goes public on the stock exchange. Initial valuation, $26 billion. Daniel Ek instantly becomes a multi-billionaire, while Shawn Fanning watches it all from the bleachers without a cent of it. Today, Spotify is worth more than $40 billion, and it all started with a kid programming in his dorm room. Shawn Fanning, to be fair, didn't end up poor. He founded several more startups and did pretty well for himself. Shawn Parker became a multi-billionaire thanks to Facebook. Today, he lives in a mansion and goes get crazy parties. Lars Ulrich is still the internet's favorite punchline. Memes mocking him still pop up every single week. Metallica eventually joined Spotify. Yes, ironically, the same band that destroyed Napster over the exact same idea. Yes, the people who sued Napster in 2000 today receive checks from Spotify every single month, just like that. The RIAA claimed music piracy cost them $14 billion, but the truth is something else entirely. The industry wasn't defending music, it was desperately defending the physical CD format and album sales. They weren't defending the future of the business, they were desperately defending how they made money yesterday. Napster died for being too early, for being almost 10 full years ahead of its time. It did absolutely the right thing, but at absolutely the wrong moment. It was a genius before its time. The music industry destroyed it out of pure fear, not for justice, not to protect the artists, pure fear, and ended up adopting the exact same idea 15 years later, dressed in a suit and tie with lawyers. Today, streaming represents more than 84% of the entire music industry on the planet. If you're subscribed to Spotify right now, technically you're using Napster, just a legal modern version. Only now somebody's getting a legal slice of the pie, and that somebody definitely is not Shawn Fanning.